Welcome, everyone. My name is Craig Kreskis, and I am part of the GPS US organization. And in this video, I wanted to help guide partners through the process of how to configure and install Viva Sales in your demo environments. Now, Viva Sales is a seller experience. It's new. It's a new application that uses M365 and Microsoft Teams to automatically capture, access, and register data into any customer relationship or CRM system. Viva Sales is designed to help sellers boost their productivity, lighten the workloads, and then just simply save time and help salespeople sell more software or goods or services. So in this scenario, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you show you how to install and configure. Then we'll connect Viva Sales inside of Outlook. We'll connect Viva Sales in Teams. And then I'll show you some resources that you can use for follow-up training and installation, okay? So let's begin with the first step on how to install and configure Viva Sales. Now keep in mind, I am using a demo environment. So I went up to the CDX experience and I created a new tenant. I use customer engagement as the basis, and we'll begin from here. Now keep in mind, you do need to be a Microsoft administrator to deploy and install the Viva Sales add-in for Outlook. And you'll also need to be a Teams administrator to deploy and install Viva Sales for Teams. Now, the first thing you'll do is you'll log into the Microsoft Admin Center. The URL is at the bottom of the page. It's admin.microsoft.com. And then select on the Show All option. And what you're looking for is settings. Now, you can install Viva Sales as an integrated app on multiple platforms or just as an individual add-on in a single platform. You'll open up settings in the admin center, and then you'll select on the integrated apps. Now, whichever method you choose, you can start either from this admin center or Microsoft App Source to install it in Outlook and then assign users. I'll select on the integrated apps, and I'll choose the Get Apps. Next, I'll search for Viva Sales, and then choose Get It Now. On the right side, I'll deploy, I'll accept, and then go ahead and deploy the app. Now this takes just a few moments. Once it's done, you'll get a check mark confirming it's complete, and then you'll choose Done. Now the add-in is enabled in Teams, but not installed. So now what I need to do is navigate to the Microsoft Teams Admin Center and create a setup policy to install the app and then assign that to users. So you'll select on Teams, and here what I did is to complete the process. And again, keep in mind, this video is designed for pre-sales audiences, not necessarily for those of you who are responsible for deployments, but you'll want to navigate here to the Teams Admin Center. And then under this section titled Setup Policies, you will name a policy. So I just created one called Viva Sales. I added the app called Viva Sales, and then you'll save your work. Then what you want to do next, and in order to leverage all that Viva Sales has to offer, and I'm referring specifically to providing organizations with the chance to capture the details of customer and seller calls in Teams. This includes the AI or artificial intelligence driven recommendations. You'll need to enable the transcript feature that's inside of Teams. Now I found in my demo environment this was not automatically installed by default. So to find this feature, you'll go under the Meetings section, Meetings Policies, and then select on the global policy, scroll down the page, and then you're locating the transcription. And just remember to enable this feature and then save your work in the bottom of the page. And that's all you need to get going to install and configure Viva Sales. Next, let's take a look at how we connect Viva Sales inside of Microsoft Outlook. So to connect Viva Sales and Outlook, you do need to be a Microsoft 365 administrator to deploy and install the add-in for Outlook. Once we ran this in the admin center, I'll navigate to Outlook so you can open up your inbox, and at this point, you should have a sample email like the one I have on my screen. From here, you'll select the ellipsis, and down at the bottom of the add-ins are select Viva Sales. Now sign in to get started. Choose your CRM application. I have Dynamics 365 installed in this environment. If you're not certain which environment you should be pointing this to, you can browse to how do I find my environment. Choose Get Started, and you are complete. You'll see here I have either under the People tab or the Dynamics 365. This gives me, you'll see here in the demo, where I can save this specific email to Dynamics 365. I have a separate video that complements this around how to do the demos in Viva Sales, but I figured since I'm already in the environment, we just configured it, I'll give you a brief tutorial on how to use the Outlook add-in. Again, there's a much greater video on the landing page for how to demo. But here's an example where I created an email. An email came from Dan Jump, and it's to discuss new partnership. And he sends me an email to thanks for the time and requests a follow-up to discuss further activities and actions. Now, normally in the process, what would you have to do in other environments if you didn't have Viva Sales installed? You'd have to minimize Outlook. You'd have to go open up your CRM or your sales contact application. You'd have to go find that particular contact, hope they're there. If not, you'd have to go and add them. Well, what Viva Sales does in terms of productivity gains, by providing sellers a single click, I can add Dan Jump, who doesn't already exist in the application, and add him to Dynamics 365. Now I'll pause for a moment. While I could have gone into that CRM application or into Dynamics 365 and manually added them, notice the AI capabilities here where we're tracking the body of the email, and it automatically recognizes the first name, the last name, the title, the email, and phone number. Right? It gives me a running start. It reduces any type of errors I may have. Now, it didn't recognize the account, which is fine. I went ahead and go ahead to associate Fourth Coffee with Dan Jump, and then I go ahead and save that. And now, not only have I saved that contact, but since we had this account already in our application, I can quickly see additional information while I'm interacting with this new contact. I can close this out, and now again, you'll see it recognizes the contact. It also recognizes the recent activity. And if I want to associate this email on the Dynamics 365 tab, I'm given the option to save this email to Dynamics 365. I'll go ahead and hit save. And then notice I now have at the top of my page a tracked to Dynamics 365 email. And I also have that on display at the top of my inbox at this email. Now to show you the further impact of that, we'll go ahead and switch applications. Nice thing is I don't have to log in and log out. I can simply switch between other cloud applications. I open up my contacts, or excuse me, my accounts. There's Fourth Coffee, and then notice inside of the timeline, that email that I associated with the account Fourth Coffee is captured, and also the new contact on the bottom right corner of my contacts has been updated. So that's just a short little demo. Again, there's another complimentary video on additional demos around Viva Sales, but there are some additional features that will allow you to extend the capabilities of the salesperson experience with Viva Sales. Now, this area combine sales and Teams and Outlook, specifically around calendar meetings and capturing the details of those meetings. Inside of your Dynamics 365 Sales app, on the bottom left, you'll see I have you focusing on the sales area page. And let's go ahead and select App Settings. And let's click on the Teams Meetings. With Team Meeting integration, sellers can quickly access and update Dynamics 365 records in Microsoft Teams either before, during, and after meetings. Now, to sync the calendars, this setting here will ensure that the meetings that are created inside of Dynamics 365 are also added to the respective calendars in Outlook and Microsoft Teams. If you don't enable that feature, then you will not have synchronization across those platforms. I enable and then I select Save. Now also, as a pre-sales consultant, you may want to highlight the opportunity for salespeople to create meetings inside of the CRM application. So as they're having discussions and interactions, I'm inside of Dynamics 365, I might want to create that team meeting or that calendar invite directly within the native app. To enable that, you have to navigate to the Power Platform Admin Center. Click on Environments. Choose the environment. In this case, I select on CRM 76218. Open up Settings, Product, Features, and if you scroll towards the bottom, there is an area that says Enable Users that can add and join team meetings from appointments in a model-driven app, which is what Dynamics 365 Sales is. Simply slide that to the right, save your work, and now I can join a team meeting directly with inside of Dynamics 365. We'll switch back to the application, and then the other areas I want you to recognize and understand is under the Teams calls. Here, Microsoft Teams Dialer helps sellers become more productive and get done their work by calling customers directly with inside of Dynamics 365 Sales Hub. So I've turned that on. And then conversation intelligence with Teams, and specifically Teams calls, gets users real-time analysis of call data. That includes an overview, a summary of the call, a transcription, insights, and action items for further follow-up. So here, sellers and managers need to or can have an easy way to review the conversations they've had with customers and also find talking points, keywords, and insights around those conversations. Again, I've got a demonstration set up for you in the subsequent video, but I want you to turn that on and then go ahead and publish your changes. Now, I wanted to highlight too, if you wanted to update any of the advanced settings inside of Conversations Intelligence, you can do so here in terms of the call recordings, where the calls are stored, any of the data, consent and privacy, and also any keywords that you might be tracking within that conversation. So those are just some of the additional setup features inside of setting up Viva Sales. Next, let's talk about how do we set up and connect Viva Sales inside of Teams. So to connect Viva Sales in Teams, open up your Teams application. You can use the web client, so that would be teams.microsoft.com. On the bottom left, select Apps. Up on the top left corner, you'll search for Viva Sales. I just did a search on Viva to see all of the apps available inside of Teams. I choose Viva Sales, I add it, and it's been added successfully. And then on the left side here, you can see now I could find that app, it's Viva Sales. And I can have this either added to a team, a chat, or a conversation. In this case here, I added it to Contoso, our team channel. And now you can see with this set up, inside of the posts, I can start to have a conversation around either accounts, opportunities, or contacts from Dynamics 365. So that's how you set up Viva Sales inside of Teams. And then I'm going to wrap up this video on just some of the resources I found helpful in my education and impart onto you as you get up and running with Viva Sales in your demo environments. First, great starting point would be at the Viva Sales homepage. So you can do a search on Viva Sales, or you can see I provided the URL directly on this page. You've got an overview. There are a couple of videos in the demo tab. If you select on features and pricing, you've got the pricing information at the top of the page. There are also some frequently asked questions provided. There is a landing page for all of the Viva apps. And so under the Viva banner, there are other Viva apps, so I wanted to provide that information to you as well, along with pricing plans as part of the Microsoft Viva product suite. And then as you drill down into the table, you can start to see the differences, what's included in the suite, what's not, and what are add-ons, in this case here, Microsoft Viva Sales. The other key essential areas to focus on your education and review, I heavily used docs.microsoft.com. There's an introduction page. There is information around data and specifically around Viva Sales and Dataverse. I wanted to make sure everybody knows when Viva Sales is connected to Dynamics 365, that is stored in a Sales Dataverse instance. And then, of course, you're going to want to understand the privileges and security rights around this application as it relates to Dynamics 365. I want to thank you so much for the investment that you gave in watching this video on how to install and configure Viva Sales, connect it either inside of Outlook, Teams, and given you some partner resources. Again, I have some other complimentary videos, one that includes how to demo now that you have all these applications configured and integrated. I provided the link here on the page, so please log back in, take a look, and happy selling, everyone. Thank you.